Hello world, I'm Kubi Darslan.
And I'm Bolu Badebo.
And this is the 5th episode of Mapso Juice. And today we're here with two of the finest realtors for Keller Williams, Carrie Schwartz and Kathleen Nittolo. And they are realtors of the Spectrum Properties Group. How are you guys today?
Great. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. The pleasure is ours. So we would just like to start off with the very first question.
Absolutely.
And it's just like, if I'm looking to move into Maplewood-South Orange, what's like the best way to investigate the two towns?
So Kathleen can start. We talk about area tours.
Sure. So what we try and do when clients come out, most often they're coming out from the city, Brooklyn, Jersey City, Hoboken, but really from all around. What we try and do is we take them out, we drive around the towns, drive around different neighborhoods, and then we encourage them, when they're not with us, to drive around, spend some time in the park, go really
Local restaurants.
have something to eat.
Yeah, exactly.
And just see how it feels and what it seems like to them.
Okay, so what would you say the cons of moving to Maplewood-South Orange would be? Like, are they losing anything if they leave the city?
Absolutely not. I think the biggest question I get from people is, what can I order at 2 a.m.? Well, it's probably going to be Little Caesars or Domino's out here. There isn't going to be much that way. But the typical person that's moving to the Mapso area or our surrounding towns, which we also serve, is typically, a set of people who may or may not want to be starting a family, possibly, and or really want some green space. So they're tired of smaller living situation, which would be more urban and in city. So at that point, there is going to be some concessions, right? You're going to have the schools that are available, public schools that people feel safe sending kids to in any of these suburbs, as well as just a little more space for home.
Yeah, you mentioned the schools. How do they operate?
So particularly Maplewood-South Orange, and I'll let Kathleen talk about a couple other communities as well, is a consolidated school district. So meaning both Maplewood and South Orange kids are combined together in the schools. We have 8 primary schools, which includes Montrose, which they mostly focus on early intervention with little ones, and then 2 middle schools and 1 high school where all the kids pool together.
And I think in some of the surrounding towns, whether you're talking about Milburn, Short Hills is part of Milburn Township. Again, there are localized elementary or primary schools. There's one junior high / middle school, and then there's Milburn High School. Same thing with Summit. There's multiple primary schools, a middle school and a high school. Chatham, same thing. There's Chatham Borough and Chatham Township. They go to localized elementary schools. And then there's, 2 middle schools, and they pool into the same high school.
So what's better about moving to Maplewood in South Orange rather than just moving a town over to other towns in the area?
Well, from a legality standpoint, being an agent, I have to be careful about that. But as a resident, I would say what I love about here is every aspect of diversity. So everything from racial diversity to economic diversity to age demographic diversity. And I think that's what makes it especially unique and special here in our towns.
Okay. How do people usually get around? Do you need like a car?
I get asked that question all the time, and I would answer yes. For families, I think 1 car is sort of necessary, albeit you could now take Uber or other aspects of the bus and mass transit,
and there's
like the train and the jitney. And if you live really close to town, then that may not be necessary at all, but you can speak to some of the neighborhoods around.
Sure. I think that, obviously there are a lot of ways, and you see in a lot of different listings or advertisements, walk to town and train. People can be very generous with how long of a walk that is. So I think Carrie's right. There are certain things, yes, can you Uber someplace? Of course. Is Uber readily available? Of course. But it is certainly significantly easier to do your grocery shopping, your everyday, going around, certainly to have a car. And I would say that the more family members you have and the different directions multiple children perhaps are going in, you would need definitely to have a car. But certainly in the very beginning, there's the jitney service that stops all over both Maplewood and South Orange that you can get on that brings you to the train station. So it's not like if you really felt you were too far from the train station to walk, there are opportunities to get on the jitney and get to the train.
So would you guys say that this community is a great place to start a business, and why or why not?
I think absolutely. It's eclectic as well. That's another word that I like to use around here, and we really, really support the arts as well. So anything unique, whether it be opening a law office, to a pottery studio, to a podcaster's booth scenario, any of that I think would be awesome here and well received. And certainly real estate wise, there's availability for rentals and purchases for people to get space commercially, which we would also be happy to help with.
Absolutely. And I think that's important to stress too, is that there is a very strong creative sense for Maplewood and South Orange residents, whether it be something, Broadway people that live out here, or, dancers and yoga and artists. And then there's, the people who perhaps aren't as creative and maybe work in the financial district, and it's an easy commute to get back into the city.
How easy is the commute?
It's about 30 minutes on the train, Midtown Direct train line. You can go either to New York Penn Station or to Hoboken, depending on where you work. Take the path from Hoboken over. And the train is frequent because a couple of different train lines from some of the more outer suburbs converge and all come through Maplewood and South Orange.
Yeah. On average, around 30 minutes. So, it could be 35 in Maplewood and 30 in South Orange, but, thereabouts. Yeah.
And how would you recommend people to, meet new people here in town?
That's a fantastic question. So, one of the things which you guys are definitely center focusing on, which is awesome, is the social media aspect. So all of these towns have their own groups on Facebook. There's even some Instagram stuff going on regarding the Soma Lounge, and Soma Swap, and Soma Moms, and Soma Dads, and Soma Singles, and the whole scenario. It should be Mapso apparently, but it's still Soma. So I would say that's an awesome center to start with, but there's also newcomers groups, and us as realtors are very helpful in facilitating people meeting. Like, oh, you just moved to town, so did so-and-so. Oh, you have a kid, same age as this person. Oh, you're single and you work in Hoboken, let's get you together. So that's helpful as well.
So what does the nightlife look like in Maplewood-South Orange? What is there to do?
Well, I'm out every night.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
No, there's some great restaurants. Is there we're going out at, as my college-age children do, at, 10 o'clock at night to some club? No.
There may be.
There could be.
We're going to be called on that. We're going to get comments
Okay.
like, you don't know about that.
Exactly. But generally speaking, I think there certainly are, just this past weekend, there was Maplewood-Stock. There are events in the towns that people go to socialize. There are concerts in South Orange with food trucks.
Yep, that's Floods Hill, the concerts on Wednesday nights.
There are lots of great restaurants, and there's both, normal inside dining as also al fresco. So we do have a lot of the sidewalk kind of cafe type things that you can go to eat.
Yeah. And I know there are the karaoke clubs and the comedy clubs, and some of the places in town offer that sort of thing. I'm not familiar with maybe the times of those, but I know that those things do exist.
And then there's the Performing Arts Center as well.
Yeah, of course. SoPac, yep. Absolutely. And Maplewood has Bergdorf, so yeah.
There's a lot. Well, thank you guys for joining us today. We really appreciate it, guys. Kathleen Nittolo, Carrie Schwartz, Spectrum Properties Group, scratch that, and we're Mapso Juice. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you.
you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.